Okay guys, it's official. New images have surfaced near the GM Proving Grounds. It was posted on Camaro6.com. I'll put a link down below to show you all the images. But the whole fleet of refresh cars was caught in the open. So initially there was only a couple cars in some of the fleets and they were all very much the same. But in this instance you can see clearly the LT model, the SS model, potentially what looks like a 1LE. There's even a ZL1 in there. And there's a lot of interesting things to talk about. Well, not a ton, but I did want to talk about them again because, yeah, there's some cool stuff there. So in some of the images, you'll see the cars are obviously still heavily camouflaged up in the front outside of the ZL1, which tells me, yes, this is a refresh setup. GM is refreshing the bumper and the front end of the cars, but they're gonna leave the ZL1 as is. I'm assuming it's probably because they put a ton of engineering work into the ZL1 for the 6th gen, and they'll just have the rear end match the rest of the cars. But the front end is already pretty aggressive. It's probably the most aerodynamic they were able to make it with this design, and they probably just don't feel like they need to change it. I would honestly like to maybe see a slight refresh there, but that's just my personal opinion. And if you guys remember, the 5th gen very much kept the same front end as the previous version for the ZL1 as well. So, but in this instance, we can talk about the different things here. So again, I'm going to be showing a lot of images here. So you can see all the different cars. Here's an LT, here's an SS, here's a ZL1. There's all the different cars. So one thing to note, there's a couple different wheel variants that I've never seen before. Maybe they're from a different version Chevy car. I could be wrong. But there's some interesting wheel patterns here. One thing I will highlight in my other video around the 2019 spy shots that I crafted was the definition on the lower part of the rear bumper. There is definitely a bump out. I pointed this out in the last video. You definitely see it consistent with all of the cars. I do think it's a design mark that they're making, and you can also tell that the rear end is kind of sloped a little bit more. It kind of comes up a little bit higher. There's a lot more clean lines in general on the rear end, but they're still hiding those lights. And in every single car, you could see the taillights are those circular LED little things. I pray to Jesus God that they don't look like this, because I'm just imagining it's like a clear housing with like these retro style lights, and please Jesus, GM, do not do this. I hope those are just test lights for the time being. But yeah, they look awkward. Let me know what you guys think about these lights below. I think they're test lights, but if they're not, I'm gonna cry. The other thing, again, the ZL1 just has the rear end. I think the car still looks pretty wicked and awesome. It's a very aggressive car. I love the way it looks. But all the rest of the cars, they're falling in line. So the front ends, again, are super heavy camouflage. We can't really see what they're doing there. The rear ends, if anything, they've just changed a couple angles, made things a little smoothed out. I don't think they're truly hiding anything on the rear. It looks clean. It looks cleaner than the current cars right now, so that's a good thing. The big question is what does the fronts look like? The other question is when are these cars coming out? You know, initially I said maybe 2019, 2020, but if we look at the current rollout, so obviously the new cars came out 2016. They have rolled out multiple models. Obviously the first years were the LTs with the RS and the SS, and then they came out with the 1LE, and then the ZL1 came out in 2017 with the 1LE. Now we're seeing the ZL1 1LE come out 2018. I think maybe 2019 will be the year we see the refresh, and I also believe that will be the time frame, or once that refresh happens, that's when we can potentially see a Z28 if they're ever going to make one. So if that happens, that'll be really cool. Overall, I think the cars look really cool. I don't know what the front end looks like. I'm just as curious as all of you guys are. GM's hiding it for some crazy reason. I mean, it's not crazy per se, but they've obviously done something different, or they want us to think they did. So we'll see what it looks like. But either or, this is an entire test fleet. It's not just one car. So I think the idea that it's a Z28 is just off the wall at this point. It does look like a full refresh group of vehicles. Here's a whole bunch of shots of the car. But yeah, they look awesome. So either or, thanks for checking out the content. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I think 2019 Refresh may be the better looking version of the 6th gen. I think GM probably took some feedback from the community and we'll make some changes that I hope everybody will like. If not, we'll find out, but either or, thanks for watching the video. Likes, comments, shares are appreciated. And as always, hit that subscribe button if you enjoyed the content. But until next time, I'll see you guys on the road.